And we're live. Pet Talk UK. Joe P. J Alby. How are you, Jay?
I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
I'm buzzing, mate. I'm
Uh,
absolutely buzzing. We're about, what are we, 30 hours away from probably one of my most anticipated fights. Well, since I've been a, a boxing fan, it's Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders. And you can tell by the smile on my face, I absolutely can't wait. And we've got a watch along tonight for the weigh-in. It's the first watch along weigh-in we're going to do. So smash that like button, hit the comments. Let us know what you think for plenty more of these. But Jay, what are you thinking heading into the weigh-in tonight? What are you thinking heading into this colossus fight?
Absolutely buzzing. The weigh-in should be exciting. Just be good to see what the guys look at the weight and that. Just a warm up in it. A warm up before tomorrow night. A little taster. Absolutely excited. Biggest fight since Wilder Fury 2.
Mm.
Biggest fight in a long time, definitely. So I'm really excited.
Over the past, say, 5-10 years, what have been the fights you've been most excited about, and where does this rank within the levels of excitement here coming into this fight?
Biggest fights. I say AJ Klitschko was a big fight.
Cool.
Klitschko Fury was another big fight. The two Wilder fights with Fury, they were absolutely massive fights. I think definitely then this one is definitely a big fight. I think for a long time, about 2 or 3 years, I wanted Billy Joe Saunders to fight Canelo or Triple G. I think they would have been huge fights as well. We've seen the Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G already twice. I just think this is the best matchup at super middleweight you can get at the moment. Caleb Plant's out there at the moment, but I just think Billy Joe Saunders, with his skills that he's got and the attributes he can cause Canelo, I think it makes it absolutely certain to be fireworks tomorrow night. Definitely 100%.
Oh, definitely. I'm absolutely buzzing. The weigh-in has just started the coverage for it. I'm sure we'll get the undercard fights along, and then we'll give you our thoughts on the main event weigh-in. Let's see what Billy Joe Saunders looks like along with Canelo Alvarez. And look at this, Pet Talk UK. Yeah, it's the main question, isn't it? So let's get answered. Has Billy Joe rattled Canelo this week? We've seen a bit of bad language from Canelo, which we haven't seen before. We've said it's impersonal. And first of all, Jay, do you think that the fact that Billy Joe may have rattled Canelo, is that an advantage or a disadvantage for Billy Joe heading into tomorrow night?
It's got to be an advantage, 100%. I think that Canelo's proved before in the fights where he's looked like he's had a little bit of trouble, or the fight he lost against Floyd Mayweather, he was a little bit rattled. So I
Yeah.
think he's gone for that method, and especially with the tactics that Fury used against Klitschko. I think it's the gypsy tactics, the wind up, be a bit sneaky, be a bit cheeky fight week and that, and just test the waters a little bit. You see Canelo snapped a little bit the other day, started getting into a bit of a row with Fury's team. I don't think he was too bothered about the ring size. I heard Eddie Hearn say that when he asked him about it, he said that's completely fine. Maybe just more of the jeering and that when he's walking around and that, he probably deserves a little bit more respect, where other opponents have probably given him that respect. Billy Joe Saunders has shown him no respect, nor his team, especially with Tyson Fury there as well. He's there geeing it up and that, making it a bit more of a scene, which we're
Whole
all happy
team
to
up.
see. Yeah, definitely. It's good to see. It's good to see because I want it to be the best fight it could possibly be for boxing. So yeah, I think this is just adding a bit of spice to it. Definitely 100%.
Definitely. And in a 24 hours where we've seen absolute mayhem with Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather in this crazy fight, it just shows that these professional super fights can be made, and we're all looking forward to it in probably around, about 30 hours time.
Yeah, no, definitely. After what happened yesterday, that was a bit of a circus. Today we see a real way in, a proper bit of boxing for the fans. I think yesterday, I don't know whether it was good for boxing or bad for boxing. It got people talking, but I'm rather be talking about this fight at the weekend, 100%.
Oh, 100%. And I think just heading into the fight, there's so many questions, and we're heading into a whole world of unknown. Whether Billy Joe could unlock that new gear that could potentially mix it with the pound for pound king that is Canelo. And I think a big thing is whether Billy Joe can adapt in the fight, because we just don't know what type of Canelo will come out, because he boxes all styles and has a bit of everything. Do you think that Billy Joe can adapt in the ring throughout the 12 rounds? And do you think that could be the difference in winning the fight?
Yeah, definitely. I think the conditioning of Billy Joe is going to be important. He looks in the best shape I've ever seen him, because he's going to have to be on point for 12 rounds. The jab's going to be key, I think. The jab and then moving out of the way, not staying still. If you stay stationary or get against the ropes or into the corner, that's where Canelo unleashes combinations, power shots. Canelo, you want to reset him. That's what Billy Joe's going to have to do. Try and work. It might be down to the footwork. I reckon the footwork of Billy Joe Saunders is going to be key here. Definitely having to get in and out. Canelo, he's really impressed me in his last two fights. I know Yielder and people will probably say that wasn't really much of an opponent, but the Callum Smith fight, definitely the punches he's thrown to the opponent's arms, a new kind of shot. Really, you don't really see in boxing. You don't really see many arm shots to take the power away from your opponent. And maybe he might do that for Billy Joe, because Billy Joe's got quick hands, and he's a little bit taller. He might be looking for the shoulder shots or the arm shots to try and slow Billy Joe down. The uppercut, which Canelo likes to throw, that's why Billy Joe needs to stay on the outside. If he comes inside and gets hit with one of them uppercuts, could be a bit of trouble. But definitely Billy Joe's got the skills to win this fight. I think 100% Billy Joe Saunders is definitely in with a shout.
100%. And that's why there's so many people in boxing who think Billy Joe Saunders could do it. So let us know, guys, in the comments what you think, who will win, and how's the fight going to play out, because I just can't wait for it. We've obviously got the Watchalong tomorrow. We'll be with you at 3:45 a.m. What are you going to do, Jay? You're going to stay up the whole night? You're going to have a little kip? What are you going to do?
No, I definitely have a little kip. I want to get up. I want to watch most of the show. So
yeah,
there's a few fights on the undercard that I want to see. So no, I'd have a kip probably afternoon, early evening, and get up ready for 1 o'clock for when the show starts.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll say I'm going to have a little sleep, but I think I'll be too excited for it. It takes me back to, over a year ago now, when it was before the whole corona pandemic, and we had Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the second fight. And I tried to get to sleep. I couldn't. I ended up shadow boxing around my room like a right plum.
yeah.
Honestly,
100%.
It's absolutely brilliant. Just looking at the weigh-in now, it just brings back those fantastic memories of that big event, Phil. I think they said there's a maximum capacity of 5,000 for a weigh-in tonight. And it just brings that big fight, Phil, outside the AT&T Stadium. It looks absolutely brilliant. And how much have we missed it? How much have we missed this? Big fans for a weigh-in, even big media, 70,000 fans. How much of a difference will this play in this huge event?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. It feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? Seeing fans inside of a stadium, especially a full stadium. 70,000 fans tomorrow, the biggest indoor arena for boxing since Muhammad Ali. So it's a long time. Yeah. It's going to be a big event. I don't know. It's going to be fantastic, especially the big occasion. It's the big Mexico weekend for the Mexicans.
Yeah,
it's going to be it's going to be an absolutely incredible atmosphere. Probably, I'd say 95% of it for Canelo. The 5% would be Billy Joe and his team. So it'd be huge, but you can't do anything once you're in the ring. It's just two men fighting, and I think it's down to concentration. Look, Canelo's probably the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, absolutely. But like Tyson Fury said, he's been beaten before. He's looked vulnerable in fights before, so he can be beaten. So you've seen upsets before. So that's why I'm quietly confident Billy Joe can pull this off. So I'm really excited, especially now looking at it now. Look at the people. Look, you see the fighters; they're looking more up for it. There's a crowd there playing up to the crowd.
100%.
Coming out with their masks on and their costumes and bringing out their characters and that. I like that. That's what I mean. This is what fans does to the sport.
Eddie Hearn isn't wearing a costume, mate. That's just his. That's just his outfit. But
Yeah. Oh, for
he's
once,
certainly turning
anyways.
it into a fashion show, isn't he,
Yeah,
Eddie
for what?
Hearn? He's wearing some very, very stylish and slick choices of
Yeah.
attire the past few months, hasn't he, Eddie Hearn? What do you think of that?
Wow. Yeah, I've only just seen him then. Actually, I didn't even really notice him, but wow. Yeah.
Oh,
Oof, bloody hell. Yeah, it must be Fashion Week or something coming up soon.
I know. At least it isn't
Wow.
the Dolce & Gabbana pajamas this time.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I don't know what he's going for this look, but yeah, no. I bet it costs quite a bit anyway.
Yeah, certainly. Might have got it out of Tyson Fury's wardrobe.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just looking over now, and it just looks so big fight feel. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, Jay, but earlier today in an interview, I can't remember who with, but Eddie Hearn hinted that Saturday or Saturday-ish was his words, that we could get a possible little announcement, and that
Yeah. I thought that I
announcement
said that
being,
earlier in the week.
yeah, Tyson Fury
Yeah.
versus Anthony Joshua. How would that just be the cherry on top of the cake of Saturday
That
night? We get that announcement.
Yeah, that'd be greedy. I don't really want to think about that at the moment because obviously
No.
we've been speaking about that quite a lot. I just want to get this fight out of the way. But if that does happen, obviously that's going to keep everybody happy. Because once this fight's out of the way, like we say, it's the biggest fight of the year. This fight, you want another fight to get your teeth into.
Mm.
So yeah, no, that'd be a cherry on top. That would, but yeah, no, there's like you say with the crowd here at the weigh-ins. It's been a long time. I'm really happy to see it, and I keep looking around at the screen to keep looking at it, and that. I just think it's great for boxing. I think this is going to be the first of many big fights in the next couple of years. I think boxing is going to produce some massive fights in the future.
Yeah, fantastic. It will do. And I said to myself at the start of the year, what's the 3 fights I want to see this year? And I said Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua straight away. And hopefully we get. I said Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo Alvarez. And I said Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. And we're getting that in a
Yeah,
couple of weeks' time. Mega fights, mega times for British boxing. And we're just so glad that it's coming back at a time where crowds are coming back. So we get this
yeah,
massive atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, all the promoters have done such a fantastic job in putting these behind closed door shows on during the pandemic. But there's nothing like a big crowd, is there? Nothing
no,
like a big
nothing.
crowd. And like I know you were saying earlier, Jay, to me when we were speaking offline about the UFC and how the crowd really impacted that. Do you think it could be the same for boxing?
Oh yeah, yeah. When the UFC a couple of weeks ago put on their first sold out show since the pandemic, it was absolutely electric. The fights probably went up about another 20-30%. It was electric. You can see the fighters, they just buzz off the crowd. The energy is unreal. And yeah, I just think having the crowd not there, you kind of get used to it. You kind of forget what it was like having crowds back there. And then once you experience the crowd back, that buzz you get, that adrenaline that you get as a fan watching, it comes rushing back. So yeah, no, it's going to be special this weekend. Hopefully, there's going to be a crowd for the future big fights. I'm not too sure about Ramirez and Taylor, but I'm looking forward to that fight just as much as this one. But I think Billy Joe Saunders, this occasion is going to be the biggest occasion he's probably ever going to get in his career. So he's got to take it with both hands this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And Lifetime Eon says, I don't know about Rattle, but he definitely made the fights a lot bigger. Well sell, Billy. And we go back to our previous live stream earlier in the week where we thought the fight may be off. Was it on? Was it off with the whole ring scenario? But yeah, surely it's just made this fight a whole lot bigger and you're a whole lot more excited about it, Jay.
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. You got to sell the fight. Billy Joe Saunders knew a bit of controversy this week's going to help sell the fight a little bit more. A little bit more. Everyone should be buying this pay per view. It's $1.99 on the zone. That is a bargain. Do you know what I mean? Because the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua is going to be about £30, I reckon, the pay per view for that. So for this, $1.99. Go out and get it, people. Like everyone, tune into this fight. Support Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, I don't think he's rattled him, but yeah, definitely agree with that comment. It's made everyone think about the fight a lot more, brought a lot more eyes to the fight that probably people want already looking to. But yeah, it's going to take a lot to rattle Canelo, but I definitely think that he's got a little bit frustrated. Definitely.
100%. And this whole fight, this whole event is I didn't think it could get any bigger. Certainly for the hardcore boxing fan, because it's a fight that I've been looking forward to for months, even years before it got announced. When Billy Joe gate crashed that press conference back in the day, it was just like Billy Joe Saunders says, he always knew that his paths would cross with David Lemieux, and he handled David Lemieux remarkably. And he always
Yeah.
knew his path would cross with Canelo. And now let's just see the big step up. And I just absolutely can't wait. Let's see what Call 123 says. A man like Billy Joe Saunders has no morals, no honours. He should learn from someone like Khabib. What do you think there, Jay? Do you think he has morals, honours? Do you think that's a bit unfair for Billy Joe?
Yeah, he does rub people up the wrong way with some of the things that he does, but I think he definitely has morals. I think gypsies, don't they? They like a lot. They like respect. They have their own code, as you say, the way that they like to be treated and like to treat other people. So I think they've always got respect, and I think Billy Joe has a lot of respect and honour, and has very good morals. But everyone does silly things now and again. So no, I don't agree with that comment. I think look, everyone get behind Billy Joe Saunders. I don't know if that viewers are British or not, or maybe might be Mexican, but everyone just get behind him and support him.
Yeah, Kenny Ken's on. Hi guys, watching the show. Big up, Kenny
Right, Kenny
Ken.
Ken, yeah,
absolutely fantastic, and I hope you're well, mate. And just going back to that, I think Billy Joe, he's obviously put out some distasteful videos. He's made some distasteful comments, but I think the general consensus is from everyone who knows him that he's a great guy. He does a lot for charity that sometimes goes under the radar, and he takes charity incredibly seriously, as well as his training. So it's a hard one, isn't it? Because obviously he would have offended a lot of people in his career. But I just hope people can look past it for the big fight on Saturday.
No, definitely. You only hear about the bad stuff that people do. You never really hear about the good stuff that people do. And there's a lot of good stuff, like you say, that he does with charity and that. But he's not one of them that puts it forward, like, do you know what I mean? Records it and puts it out there like some people might do. He does it quietly. So yeah, he's going to get a lot of bad press when negative stuff come out. But we all know that he does a lot of good stuff. So I'm not really focusing on that. I'd just like to focus on the fight. Two men getting in the ring.
Yeah.
Looking at their skills, admiring what they've got to offer. In the last fight, Canelo, I was in awe after the Callum Smith fight. I was a big Callum Smith fan. And I just sat there and I was like, wow, this guy, like, he was just in control. And I thought, what a fighter. Billy Joe Saunders, like you say, when he came against David Lemieux, he said their paths were going to cross, destroyed him really in a 12-round one-sided fight, using his boxing skills in and out, didn't let himself get hit by a hard puncher. This fight here, the only thing that worries me would be inactivity, but that's what I've said before in previous streams that we've done. Canelo's been very active. This will be his third fight in 6 months. Billy Joe in the last couple of years been hit and miss. The opponents haven't really been at the top world level. I know it's been difficult for him. That would be my only concern. That would be the inactivity. But the shape that he looks like he's going to be coming in today's weigh-in, which we're covering, I'm excited to see. He looks absolutely on point. So yeah, no, that gives me confidence.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Joe, like you say, it's just a fight that everyone's looking forward to. Like, it's just like you say, Eddie Hearn's dressed up. David Diamante looks like he's dressed up. He's got his hat on. He's got his blazer on. Everyone's got a smile on their face. The sun's out. The crowd's out. Oh, yeah, summertime coming as well. So happy times.
Here we go. Call 1, 2, 3. Oh, Elliot. Hello, Kenny Ken. Thank you for joining us, mate. How are you, mate?
It was just been to a good friend's funeral, and it was an all-day thing.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, we're doing well. I don't know if you guys know him. He's my good friend Claude from Arsenal Fan TV.
Yeah.
He's not really from Arsenal Fan TV. He's got his own channel called The Banters, but me and Claude went back a long way. I just want to say it's an honour for his family to invite me for the funeral and let me participate as well in terms of it was hard. But it's hard. It's going to miss the great man. But I saw what was happening, and I thought, let me just see if I could just talk about my second favourite sport, and let's fill us in on what we've seen this week. what we've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a bit of what you're saying, but it just reminds me of how Tyson Fury's demeanor and his confidence ahead of the Klitschko fight. Was it what was the fight? It was in Düsseldorf.
Yeah.
Düsseldorf, about 6 years ago now, coming up to November. And Billy Joe Saunders, he seems very well prepared. It's the fight of his life, and he generally feels that his style's all wrong for Canelo. So, he's one of those fighters who you just don't underestimate. He's like, he probably feels there's a skill set that, that we're probably going to see tomorrow. I still have Canelo down as the favourite, but you just never know, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Before we go any further, I just want to say, rest in peace, Claude. Obviously, absolute. I didn't know him personally, but good friend of yours, Kenny, and you've said on countless occasions, absolutely fantastic guy, and just life and soul of a lot of YouTube videos, and gave so many people just a lot of laughs when a lot of people needed it at the end of the day, and it just brought a smile to people's faces.
Yeah, it did. It's hard, going through. I just want to play, like send my love to his family as well.
Yep.
His grandkids, his daughter, his dad, and also their extended family as well. I met them today, and it was just nice to spend time with them. Not really under the circumstances, but it's it's just fun. It's a good send off for the great man. You know what I mean? Obviously, it would be nice, if he could come on one of these podcasts. He's trying to get him interested in boxing, but he secretly had a bit. But he was obviously he just didn't have the confidence to come on. But I think he would love Fight Night. I've managed to convert him to these great events, and one of them's today. Just waiting for Billy Joe coming on the stage. I'm just watching it on YouTube like you guys.
Yeah,
it's live on. This is live on their the YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just watching it, getting the reactions in. But yeah, laugh on Claude. Fantastic guy, and gone way too soon. But we'll go back to call 123 comment. It's my opinion that Billy Joe Saunders has no morals. Biggest example is his son hitting someone in the testicles at a weigh-in. Kenny, what do you make of that? Do you think he's got morals, and do you think he's giving the right? Think he's giving the right messages and teachings to his son?
Well, it's again, it's one of those things where I think they went a bit too far. The son did apologise in the ring afterwards, but I think this was one of the. You see, it's such a shame, right? That a great occasion like this, that Billy Joe Saunders has got a great opportunity, and what will happen is that because some of the British public, feel the same way about him that they did about Tyson Fury 6 years ago, they would think he's going to be divided. All three of us are dying for a win. I'm going to run around the street, tell our friends we watched it, but it's about sending himself to the British public. I just don't want a situation that if he wins this fight, I was about to say, when wasn't I? If he wins this fight, we don't know what situation that Tyson Fury had when he came back from Manchester, and there was only 5 people to greet him.
Yeah.
After he got this beautiful win against Klitschko, and now he's a national hero. I really pray that it doesn't happen. Next week, but at the end of the day, man, a fight's a fight, and he has to sell the fight, and he's doing a very good job of selling it to the British public.
100%. And Canelo says Billy Joe is in big trouble. What do you make of that comment, Jay? And let us know in the comments below. Jay, what do you make of that comment? Do you think Billy Joe is in big trouble?
Yeah, just before I start, I just want to say rest in peace, Claude. Sorry if you lost Kenny, and sorry if you lost Claude's family and that. I watched him many times over the years on YouTube and that, and he was a great guy. So I just wanted to say that. On that comment, Canelo wants to take everybody's head off, but the way he fights, he's so aggressive, comes forward, great head movement, a lot of variety in his shots, comes in with a jab nice. Like I was saying earlier, has a nice uppercut. the arm shots that I really like, that I was saying in the Callum Smith fight, that I thought was a great attribute that you don't see many fighters use in boxing. They normally go for the head or the body shots, but the arm shots, like say, take away your opponent's weapons. I think it will walk it.
Don't you think it's gamesmanship?
Yeah, but it's a fight. You can't really have much gamemanship in a fight, can you? Like, as long as it's in the rules, it's acceptable, isn't it? As long as it's not a low blow or a headbutt. I think as long as you can allow to hit them in that place, it's completely fine. Maybe more fighters should start using that technique than they probably will do in the future. And now seeing Canelo use it, but I think Billy Joe with the bigger ring, being 100% conditioned, got the skills. I think it'll work into Billy Joe's favour. What do you think, Kenny? Do you think it's going to work into Billy Joe's favour? Canelo being a bit more frustrated, a bit more aggressive?
Well, the thing about it is that Canelo can punish him. The thing about Billy Joe is that being evasive in the fight and trying to get under the skin isn't going to win you matches. We've seen in the last couple of weeks, and especially last week, where you have to let your hands go. You have to score punches. You have to get body shots in. You've got to do the job and catch the eye of the judges. Being evasive isn't going to win Billy Joe a fight, but that's why I think Billy Joe, he's got a skill set to do that. He really, really, really has to make his southpaw, like I said, stance like a weapon, and he really needs to frustrate Canelo. Obviously, we always say it's the most underrated shot in boxing, the double jab, but it's got to be body shots as well, and then he has to frustrate and move. He wants Canelo missing. He wants Canelo missing, and he wants Canelo in a situation where he's exhausted himself trying to close down that ring. Now, one of the things with Canelo is that, as we said before, last Southpaw, I remember the fight was Lara, and what he was able to close down the distances. And what was happening is that Lara, because of him being able to close down the distances, Lara wasn't able to get his hands going, because Canelo he's very good at getting that right hand up, especially when he's fighting a southpaw, and he's very quick at doing that. He's got an excellent defense, and he's got excellent head movement as well. And I think that's what Billy Joe Saunders is gonna, be surprised, is the defense and the head movement and the ability to throw counter punches as well. Because everyone just assumes, looks at Canelo, they look at what he did to Amir Khan, they look at the way he stalks his opponents, but it's the counter punches as well and head movement, and that's where Billy Joe Saunders has to be really, really, really wary of, and he has to be really quick, and his hands, his feet have to be quick, because Canelo, I know some people call him flat-footed, I call him heavy-footed. You know what I mean? For a relatively lighter weight fighter, he's quite heavy. He's got the feet of a heavyweight.
Yeah, I thought that. Like the way he comes forward. Yeah,
each shot he lands is pretty heavy. Like a jab would be quite heavy from Canelo. Like a hook's quite heavy. I get what you're saying there, Ken. Yeah, definitely.
Guys, smash that like button, Pep Talk UK, hit the subscribe button and share with your friends. Pep Talk UK, this is Call 123 again. And he's not joking around. Billy Joe Saunders about to hold this L beautifully. So, Call 123 thinks Billy Joe is about to take his first L, I believe, on Saturday. That's what he thinks. But just going back to the presser yesterday, and just before the presser, I heard an interview with Billy Joe Saunders where he says, we aren't here to take part, we're here to take over. And I think that's going back to Dusseldorf with Tyson Fury against Klitschko. It's like this whole thing about they took over. It was this siege mentality. And do you think that puts Billy Joe in a different position to the likes of Matthew Hatton, Amir Khan, Rocky Fielding, Ryan Rhodes, all the Brits that have come here before, Kenny?
Yes, I think what's happening is that, he will look at his situation. And he will say, right, with all due respect to Callum Smith, he's going to look at the Callum Smith fight and says, right, I'm levels above Callum Smith. Despite the fact that Callum Smith has got, a good record, he's going to look at the names of Callum Smith's record. He said, well, all Callum Smith had was Jones Rose. And he stepped up to the plate. But Callum Smith, in my opinion, froze. He didn't expect Canelo to have the strong defence. He didn't expect Canelo to cut off the distances easily, and he wasn't expecting the arm punches. I think Billy Joe Saunders believes he's a better fighter and he's got a better pedigree than Callum Smith, and he's gonna think, right, he ain't gonna get me like that. He ain't gonna stalk me like that, because every time he stalks me, he's gonna meet my double jab, and he's gonna meet my body shot, and I'm gonna meet him. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Joe Saunders takes him by surprise and meets him at the centre of the ring and takes the fight to him, because Canelo won't be expecting that. Not many fighters have put on Canelo. Not many have, because they know about the defence and they know about the counter punches, and they actually feel they're beaten in the ring because of his skill set. Billy Joe Saunders has to believe that he is the best fighter in the world. He's going to show he's the best fighter in the world, and I think it'll make a statement if he takes the centre ring.
Yeah, no, I think tactically wise, it's such a hard one to call, because everyone thinks that Billy Joe Saunders is going to be the boxer move, the Erislandy Lara, the Austin Trout, the Floyd Mayweather, which Canelo has obviously had problems with before. But as we were saying before we joined, Kenny, it's all about adapting with Canelo, because we don't know what Canelo will come out, and we don't know what Billy Joe Saunders will come out. Jay, do you think there is a chance that Billy Joe could put it on Canelo early on?
There could be. You see Tyson Fury, what he's under Deontay Wilder. Canelo probably, well, he ain't going to be as effective going backwards, is he, as he is coming forward. So you might see it at times. I don't think straight away Billy Joe's going to come straight out and put it straight on him. I don't think that will probably happen. Some points of the fight, he's going to have to fight him, and I can see him probably trying to put him on the back foot. I think it's going to be the footwork. I think he's going to have to keep making Canelo reset, and as soon as Canelo goes to reset, it's going to stop Canelo throwing, and that's when I think Billy Joe's going to have to come in with 3s and 4s and then get in and out. I think that's how he's going to win it, by points. I think he's going to make Canelo reset, and as soon as he does that, he's going to hit him with the combinations like he did against Lemieux, and then get out. It's going to be a clinic, I think. But then on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a knockout like you saw with Amir Khan, because Canelo's got that punching power. It's not like he's fighting a nobody. Canelo's got the knockouts in his arsenal to knock people out. He's also got the tools to outbox fighters, but I don't think he will outbox Billy Joe Saunders. I think with a bigger ring, the pedigree that Billy Joe's got fighting on the back foot, getting out of range, this is what's so intriguing. I don't know what you both think. It's just the styles, isn't it? Styles make fights, and you don't really know how this one's going to play out, and I think that's what makes it so exciting.
Definitely.
Sorry. The thing is, Jay, what you're saying is, and Joe as well, the reason why you're not sure, because I think one thing people underestimate about Canelo is that he's probably one of the most adaptable fighters in the game right now.
Yeah.
It's like he actually studies his opponents. Obviously, naturally, he's going to impose himself on opponents. But what's happening, right, is that you saw in the Golovkin fights the levels this guy's on. I don't think he won both the fights, but it was a situation where the first fight, it was like mixed up between retreat and engage, handbrake on, handbrake off. But in the second fight, where he felt, I felt this guy's power, I'm going to take it to this guy and beat him to the punch. I'm not going to counter punch him. I'm going to put it on him. So, and I think that's the thing. He would be fully expecting what Billy Joe's jab, body in out, accuracy and move, and basically to able to be dancing on his feet. So he's going to be watching that. He's going to think, right, him and his training will be thinking, how do we adapt to a southpaw? Not just a southpaw, a world-class southpaw with great movement, deceptible power as well. Billy Joe Saunders has got deceptible power, and the ability to dance with feet. How is he going to work that? And I think what you're seeing in this fight is that Canelo would respect the game plan. Yes, he'll be wound up and he'll be irritated slightly about what Billy Joe's doing, but he never lets go of the game plan. He doesn't get emotional in there. You know, he learned a lot from when he fought Floyd Mayweather, where, contrary to what a lot of people said, Floyd Mayweather put it on him and mixed it up with him. And it was just too quick for Canelo in terms of like getting Canelo to where Canelo tried to open up, and that defense and the feet were just too like on a different level. You know what I mean? And I think that's where, and I think that's where, obviously, Billy Joe Saunders, you can never write him off, because Tyson Fury taught me a lot of things. Tyson Fury, you write up Tyson Fury, said, who's he for, blah, blah, and then he thinks, right, I'm going to be able to, I've got a superior skill set. Now, Billy Joe Saunders generally believes he's of that ilk as well. And that's why it's a must for every boxing fans. Get your beauty sleep during the day, you know, because, you know, you don't want a situation where you're going to sleep through one of the greatest fights out there.
Oh, 100%. As we said just before you come on, Kenny, it's one of them fights where you can't miss it, can you? You could not miss it, because it's just going to be a huge event for the crowd alone. I think we're going to. I'm expecting some spectacular ring walks. I think we're going to be in for some really nice little ring walks there. But just going back to style-wise, do you think Billy Joe Saunders' power was underestimated, or do you think he isn't the most powerful guy? Obviously, we've seen he hasn't got the best knockout ratio. But Jay, do you think his power is underestimated, and could Canelo underestimate it?
Well, for one thing, Canelo's got a chin. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
That's one of his big attributes. He's got. I don't think I've ever seen him drop, to be honest. The power of Saunders. Saunders' power is in his timing, and you don't always need the most power to drop someone or to get someone respect. If he can time it with the combinations, and that's all it takes sometimes. So I think Billy Joe Saunders has got the timing and the speed for his punches to be effective to trouble Canelo, but the one punch powers, I'd say he ain't got the one punch power where you're going to think it's going to be an instant KO. But yeah, he's got the speed, he's got the timing, he's got the tools to trouble Canelo. Do you know what I mean? But to this day, like I keep saying, I've not seen Canelo troubled really in any of his fights. Even at the fight he lost to Floyd Mayweather, it wasn't like he was wobbled or he got put down a couple of times. He was outboxed on that evening, and I think Floyd did put the blueprint down to beat Canelo. I think he done what I was saying earlier. He made him reset all the time, hit him with the combinations, got in and out, traded when he needed to, like Ken said, and literally put it on him. But Canelo's experienced now. He's gone through that. I think since the second Triple G fight, I don't know about you guys, I think he's become a different animal. I think, like Ken said, in the first fight, he realised that he could probably beat the guy, felt his power, and then in the second fight, pull it on him a lot more, come on stronger in the earlier rounds. And since that fight, I think he's looked a more accomplished fighter. I think he's the fear factor. He now realises he probably is one of the best in the world. And I think when you get that fear factor, you get that confidence. And I think we've seen that in Canelo since the second Triple G fight. I think what's the comment there? The last 3 or 4 rounds, the last couple of rounds will be critical for Billy Joe. That's what we're saying about his fitness and the conditioning. And he's been inactive for quite a while. So I think Canelo being active 3 fights in 6 months, the later rounds probably will benefit Canelo. You would think so. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kenny, what do you make of that comment?
Well, yeah, I think it'd be critical when you talk about Billy Joe's fitness, and Canelo took his time against Canelo. Yeah, and I do agree with that. He did take his time. He realised that he was in terms of his skill set and his ability to take a punch, that eventually he was going to wear Kovalev down. And again, students of the game will watch fighters who put on Kovalev. We're not talking, and the fighter that people didn't expect to put on Kovalev was Andre Ward. The first fight, a lot of people looked at the knockdown in the second round for Andre Ward. But what they didn't see was the 6 rounds where he was out working Kovalev and hitting with combos. And I could see why that was a unanimous decision. The second fight, he says, right, I felt this guy's power, he's having it. And
Yeah.
let's face it, he battered him. Canelo did the same thing where he did that blueprint where he put it on. In terms of like Canelo's fitness, yeah, 3 fights, in 6 months have helped. But let's face it, with the exception of Callum Smith, he hasn't really been tested. But one thing about Canelo is that he's a belt gatherer. He ain't going to take Billy Joe lightly. Yeah, Dave, he's going to look at it. He's going to respect Billy Joe. But yeah, Dave, he wants what Billy Joe has. He wants to more titles. This is about a portfolio for Dave.
Yeah.
I started at I started at the lighter weights. I got into light middleweight, and I went all the way up to middleweight. I went to super middleweight, and I went to light heavyweight because I know that I could transcend my fitness and my power all the way up, and that's what it is. That's what great fighters do. Great fighters do, and Billy Joe is business. One thing you say about Billy Joe, he fought Martin Murray, and you've got a feeling with Billy Joe is that was a fitness test for him. Martin Murray is basically an honest pro. His best days were where he should have really, really got the title. When he fought for the middleweight titles, he got robbed in Germany a couple of times. But after that, he fought George Groves in he fought George Groves 2016. He acquitted himself well, but he was never going to beat George Groves. Too big for him. And then when his last fight against Billy Joe in December, never had a chance of beating Billy Joe. But he gave it some go. Billy Joe was leveled. It was levels above him. Billy Joe was just using it as target practice for this, fitness. Because as you know, Tyson Fury wants a warm-up fight. Well, Billy Joe's had his warm-up fight. Right. That was the practicing strategies and what he's going to use in this fight with Canelo.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the thing is what you said about the fitness thing with Billy Joe. We've said about activity with Billy Joe and Canelo. But do you think style-wise, I know we've said style makes fight, but style-wise, is Billy Joe the hardest test at super middleweight, Kenny?
Well, you say that in terms of his pedigree and the fact that his skill set, you say yes. But the thing with Canelo, he's got a nagging habit of like I said, neutralising his fighters, dominating his fighters, and making look easy. Because my bet was I always thought that Callum Smith actually was all wrong for Canelo. I looked at what Callum Smith was capable of. I knew he was intimidated, but I looked at right, the reach and his ability to throw, like I said, body punches from long range. It doesn't have to be nearby. He'll catch you by surprise, and he's got a good left hook on him as well. It's not just the body punch, the right body punch, right hook to the body, and the left hook to the body. But he's you know what I mean. It was one of those ones that were really impressive, and that's one of the reasons why I thought that will happen. And when I had the radio on and I found it on a stream, but I made sure that I wouldn't trust the stream, but sure was okay. I looked at the first 2 rounds. I thought, nah, he's frozen here. He's been intimidated. He was shocked by the fact that this geezer got the distance round, and he was shocked at the speed and the ability to beat him with a punch. And that's what Canelo's capable of. And that's one of the things is that you can't be surprised by the result. You want to be pleasantly surprised, but if Canelo shuts Billy Joe out, no one in the panel I think would be surprised. I wouldn't anyway myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the reason why I'm trying to say it is that I think we sometimes tend to underestimate how good this guy is.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, and we're not underestimating Billy Joe. We know Billy Joe's a fantastic fighter, great skills, blah blah. But I think that will motivate Canelo in a way that I think Klitschko underestimated Tyson Fury. I don't think Canelo's going to underestimate Billy Joe. He's going to respect him. He's going to go in there fearing that Billy Joe could take everything that he's worked hard for. And I think there'll be like a greater determination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. Jay, what do you think? Do you think that Billy Joe is the biggest test at the super middleweight division, bigger than Plant, Benavidez, and the rest of the guys mixing it up there?
I think Benavidez and Plant are great fighters in their own right. We've got to see him in some more top level fights before we can start saying like if they're ready to challenge Canelo. I think that Canelo's going to fight him next anyway because they got the belts and that. Billy Joe Saunders, his pedigree, like you say, he's 30-0. My only worry with Billy Joe is that he hasn't fought enough world level elite fighters. That's probably the only downfall. But he's got the skills, so it's just I don't know. It could experience wise, Canelo's always going to win. He's nearly had 60 fights, so even though that he's a year younger than Billy Joe Saunders, so the experience is always going to be with Canelo. But it's just, I don't know. I've just got a sneaky feeling that Billy Joe Saunders is going to do it. I don't know why. I just, as much because Canelo, no disrespect to him, he's probably in my top 3 favourite fighters. So it's no disrespect to Canelo. I've just, for about 2 or 3 years, I've just admired the fight. I think that Billy Joe Saunders has got the style that's all wrong for Canelo. It's just like the Mayweather style. It's just that Billy Joe Saunders is a southpaw. His style's going to be able to mimic that style more than any other fighter, I think. I think other fighters have different attributes. And it's going to take someone like Billy Joe Saunders to beat Canelo. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo wins as well. That's how close the fight is. But I'm just praying Billy Joe wins it. Yeah, it's the beauty of the fight. But I just pray Billy Joe wins it. Another world champion. We had one the other week with Sonny Edwards. It'd be great to get another one with Billy Joe Saunders. And it would be history making, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? It would be one of the biggest victories from a British fighter overseas. So
yeah,
can't argue with that.
Michael Buffer's just up on the stage.
Did you guys see Carl Froch? I'm surprised Carl Froch. I'm surprised Carl Froch didn't tell anyone that he filled Wembley Stadium and got 80,000 in.
I'm surprised he didn't say he was too big, too strong for Canelo and Triple G as well.
Carl Froch sells himself. Oh yeah, well he's Denny's mate, innit?
Well, he's meant to be fighting Roy Jones Jr. next. Did you hear that?
Carl Froch.
Yeah, have you not heard it on the IFL interview? He said that. He's had the paperwork sent to him to fight, and he's looking through the numbers and that. And then he apparently said something about Roy Jones is past it, and then today Roy Jones Jr. has responded, and he's not happy that he's called him a past it fighter or something. And he says, "Well, yeah, it looks like it's going to happen."
Wow, that would be a very strange fight, and surely Froch is the fresher fighter. He's only been retired, and what do you think, Kenny?
Well, Froch has got deceptive skills, and he's got a detonator a right hand. But Carl Froch, he hasn't fought for a long while. You know, look at Billy Joe Saunders. Look at him. He's coming up. Look at him.
Here we go. Yeah. Billy Joe Saunders coming out.
He's coming out now.
Here we go, guys. It's Billy Joe Saunders.
There we go. The
Canelo Alvarez, the live weigh-in Watchalong, Pep Talk UK. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. Here we go. He's just coming up on the stage.
He's getting booed in, but he looks confident though.
Yeah.
You think I can't hear it because let me put the volume up because I've got me nozzles. I've got me.
Yeah, he's getting booed.
South, that's too loud, guys.
What do you think of that new WBC belt for the fight then, Joe?
Yeah, the Cinco de Mayo belt. They often issue out special belts, and say what you like about the credibility of it. It certainly looks beautiful, doesn't it? It looks lovely. I wouldn't mind it on the mantelpiece.
Yeah, well, it is a WBC belt still, though, isn't it? So it's still got its credentials, and it's just a different style for this fight. I think when it's for a special occasion, I guess it looks quite nice. As long as it's not a new belt.
That looks like a woman's pajamas. What is that?
Brilliant.
Pajamas.
Fantastic. Looks like something Del Boy would wear.
Yeah, he's just come out. Yeah, he just got out of bed.
This guy looks like his bed makes itself.
Oh wow! Absolutely brilliant.
He definitely must have a sponsorship deal with the old Dolce & Gabbana pajamas and that.
I don't know. I think that's his own brand. It says Canelo Alvarez. It's his own brand, unless he's in partnership or something. But
yeah, I saw the other day on his bags and that it said Canelo Alvarez, his symbol, and then next to it had the Dolce and Gabbana as well.
Oh,
So
really?
I don't know whether, yeah, so I don't know whether he is in partnership with him and that.
He's weighing himself now. Let's see what he's coming at.
Here we go.
Looks good on the. Looks good.
Looks good.
167.8 pounds. Oh, he looks good. He looks confident. He looks ready.
Have you noticed his legs look strong as well, Billy Joe?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
His upper torso looks condensed down and actually figured, which you don't see much from Billy Joe. That's 167.8 pounds for Billy Joe Saunders, and he looked ready.
The best I've looked at, he's looked at super middleweight.
Oh, definitely.
He looked a bit flabby in his last couple of fights at super middleweight.
Canelo looks trimmed as always.
167.50. 167.5.
167.5. So he's coming 0.2 lower than Billy Joe Saunders. What a reception he's getting as well. Canelo Alvarez, a national hero for all the Mexicans.
Can you imagine it? Yeah, but you know, like places like California and Texas,
it's
on the border, innit?
Yeah, no, down south, yeah. Oh, wow.
The size difference, Billy Joe does look a lot big, quite a bit bigger than him, I think.
Well, we don't know who Canelo's. One minute he's 5'9", and he's 5'8.5". Billy Joe Saunders is sometimes 5'10" and 5'11". They can't make their minds up, these fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. BoxRec says different. It's all crazy. But let's have a look at
Canelo's about 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, I think maybe 5'8".
Look at the face. Look at the face off. Look at the face off.
Here we go. The face off now.
Take his cap
Confidence. Off. Yeah, take his cap off.
Yeah,
got your hat.
Got your cap. Yeah.
Very intense.
Right. No. Right. Eddie Hearn's getting involved. Eddie Hearn's not. They're not moving. Eddie Hearn. They've moved him now. Oh, he's put his.
You see that Eddie Reynoso tried to pull him back, but it's intense. Oh no, but this is absolutely fantastic.
Look at Mark Tibbs.
Back. Mark Tibbs loves it. Mark Tibbs, Jesus, he was scary than Billy Joe. He's right over his shoulder.
Yeah, he was ready for a fight.
He was throwing microphones like on the Dillian White Zora.
Look at Mark Tibbs, mate, man.
Yeah,
look at Mark Tibbs. He's looking like.
Was that Kenny? Sorry, mate.
Mark Tibbs is looking like pretty slick there, isn't it?
Yeah, with that tracksuit on.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow, one step closer.
Wow,
to the
what
big
an
fight,
atmosphere!
guys.
Look at all them
Let us
people
know your
there.
reaction. The atmosphere, absolutely brilliant. AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Wow, I'm buzzing for this. Absolutely buzzing. And first of all, what do you think? How do you think they looked, Jay? Did it look good?
Yeah, Billy Joe Saunders looked confident. He looked really relaxed, really confident. Like Kenny said, looked strong at the weight. His legs looked strong. I was looking at him. He looked a bit fleshy in his other fights at super middleweight. I don't know whether his conditioning was great for them fights. Like we said, he gets up for the big fights. This fight, he's definitely put the work in. He's been training since January, I believe. So yeah, you can definitely see he's putting it out. Canelo looks $1 million as always. Ripped, great condition, true professional. So you can't really say much more than that. I think this fight's getting spiced up ready. I'm really excited. Ken, what do you think? What do you think on the scales? Do you think they both look pretty strong?
They look pretty tight. They look ready. You know, like I said, they're both looking chiseled facially. They are ready, mate. They are ready for their. They look athletically good. You know, Canelo looks confident. He looks like expectant. He doesn't expect to come away with anything but a point, resounding victory. Billy Joe Saunders looking very confident as well. He generally believes he can shock the world. He's up for it. He's playing about, showing relaxed, and you know, I don't think you try and gauge something from that, but from both of them, you can from Canelo, He's expectant. Billy Joe Saunders, it's have a great time, and he says they're gonna. He has this sort of like, I may look like a clown, but I'm gonna give you a shot kind of look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, guys. Let us know what you think. How did they look on the scales? And are you looking forward to this fight tomorrow? Now, we said about how they looked on the scales. How did they look at in that face-off? It was pretty tense. It was. You felt it, didn't you? You felt it. Just there is something between them, and there's something about Canelo that we haven't seen in a very long time. Kenny, what did you make of it, mate?
What made of it is that, you know, I don't really take much of weigh-ins. I think weigh-ins are for the fans, really. It's a way to build up more interest. You know, maybe get that extra pay-per-view sales. Tickets already sold. It's just part of like I said, promoting the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fans are already there. It's about saying, right, more viewers. Don't forget, pay-per-views. Come on, we haven't got enough sales. Boom, boom. Let's get this on show. Get more people.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Just listen to Billy Joe talk now. He was. Look, Billy Joe's
he's coming.
He's come to take everything off him.
He's coming to take all the titles, and how amazing would it be if he did? It would be certainly one for the history books, and it would be certainly one that we'll look back in years to come, like we have, like Lloyd Honeyghan, Donald Curry, like we have Klitschko versus Fury, the biggest fight of all. And just quickly going back to the presser yesterday, Jay, could there be a bit of gypsy magic involved here, according to Tom Saunders?
Well, you saw the gypsy magic in the first Tyson Fury fight, didn't you? When he got up in that 12th round. Yeah, there might be. Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I've just got a feeling. I don't know. The feelings I've got is that Billy Joe it's going to be a draw. If I'm being completely honest, this is my fight prediction. It will be a draw. That's what I think it will be.
If it's a draw, the Billy Joe Saunders, even look at Tommy Saunders there as well. If it's a draw, in my opinion, I generally believe that it maybe fans are going to watch this are going to think, well, hang on here, Canelo didn't win this. That Billy Joe's.
I think there could be a second fight. There could be a second fight. I reckon it will be a draw. That's the feeling I've got. I think.
Is there a rematch clause? Well, there probably is a rematch clause for Canelo, but
there isn't.
Fight. There isn't.
There is no. I don't think there is for either fighter.
Billy Joe said, apparently come out and said there isn't an actual signed rematch clause. I think there's a signed negotiation period, but not a signed rematch clause.
I think. Right. In my opinion, I think it's probably one of the worst decisions both fighters can make, especially Canelo, because Billy Joe Saunders looks like the sort of person who will shut him out and make it very difficult for him to like get that L back.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a,
definitely.
There's a bit of a George Groves back, because you notice George Groves not very good at giving people rematches. You didn't give he didn't give James Gale a rematch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there'd be a gentleman's agreement. I think if there's a draw, I reckon both guys would want a rematch. It'd be like the Triple G. I think Canelo would want to get the victory if there's a draw, and I think if there's a draw, Billy Joe Saunders would want to.
Yeah. Draw, they're definitely wins. But if Billy Joe Saunders wins, then I don't see Billy Joe Saunders even wanting a rematch.
I think he might retire if he wins. I wouldn't be surprised, because Billy Joe's that sort of fighter. He said he's lived his whole life for this one fight, this fight. So I believe that if he wins this fight, he'll say there's no man out there at the level that Canelo is at the moment, and there's no man for him to beat. Not saying he would retire. There's obviously other fights out there like Caleb Plant and that, but it'd be 31-0. That's a good record. Do you know what I mean? Not many fighters can retire on a 31-0 on a high like that.
Where do you go after you beat Canelo? How do you
nowhere yourself? Really.
How do you motivate yourself after beating Canelo? Do you think like Tyson Fury had that problem when he beat Klitschko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think?
Does he go for the money?
No, they
Well,
don't want the money. They don't care about money. They say, don't they?
yeah. Well, him and Tyson Fury are very much against the money. They're all about destiny, proving they're the best. That they're
Yeah,
fighting men, and no man is good enough to beat them. That their philosophy, the only people who can beat them is them themselves. I genuinely believe that. So we have to wait. We
yeah.
have to wait and see. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, if you ask me, for me, you haven't asked me my prediction. I'm sure you're going to do that soon. But you know, I've looked
Come
at
on,
it.
Kenny, you might as well give it to us now, mate. Give us your prediction.
Or how long we got on the show left?
I think we got about half an hour left.
All right.
It's up to you. Do you want to give us it now, or
Give me
it'd probably be a long one? All
What
right,
time?
cool.
You'll give it in half an hour because there's loads of things where I've watched both the fights, and you know, I can see how both fighters win it. But I am swinging one way, not on going down the adaptability route.
Just going through comments here. We got Shaz, Team Billy Joe Saunders, Ryan Lamb, MGTOW. It's one of them things. We just quickly go through it now. Just with what you said, Jay. Here we go. Ampy, what are Canelo's weaknesses? How would you rate his footwork? We've gone through his footwork a bit. His punch power, it was great, but versus Yildirim, the guy just stood in front of him. Let's make a bit of that then. Jay, what do you think of Canelo's punch power? Is he a heavy hitter?
Oh yeah, he's a heavy hitter. I think he's got great footwork as well. I think his footwork's underestimated. I think he's got good footwork and great head movement. People, because with a lot of fighters who come forward, they're not really known to have great footwork in the sense of getting out of the way of shots, and they're just known for plodding forward. Canelo's a bit different in the aspect that he's a very aggressive come forward fighter, but he's got a lot of agility when it comes to head movement and actually using his feet. So, no, I think he's got great footwork. He's got the power. Look at the way he ended Amir Khan. Right? Amir Khan's a bit chinny, and he has been knocked out a few times. But he has. Like once you've been knocked out a few times, you're more vulnerable every time you get knocked out. So, but that was a brutal knockout. It was one of the worst I've ever seen. When it happened, I thought, wow, I felt sorry for Khan. But Canelo has gone to points a lot as well. He has gone points quite a few times. So I wouldn't underestimate his power.
Remember what I was saying? Accuracy
What was that?
beats. Remember what we said last week? Accuracy beats speed, didn't it? But Amir Khan's one of the fastest fighters I've seen for a long time. Quick movement, hands quick, boom, boom. But
definitely.
Timing, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. At Tyson
Fury.
See the show.
But that Yildirim, that was a stupid mandatory. He was mandatory for 2 years. He didn't really. Chris Eubank Jr. destroyed him, didn't he, a few years ago? So
battered
that
him.
was a bit of a mismatch.
4 years ago. Yeah, I think Yildirim. I think Yildirim. He's a good fighter. He's a good European level fighter. He's not world class, but his manager has done a very good job in terms of promoting him.
Yeah.
You know what? When I think about his manager, I still remember the press conference with Chris Eubank when his manager went on a right mad like one of Chris Eubank Jr.'s entourage. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Some of the things he said were really uncalled for. I think someone's. Can you hear Joe?
I can't hear Joe. No.
Can you hear me now, mate?
Joe, you all right there, Joe? Yeah, I can hear you now, Joe.
Sorry, my AirPods went again. No. About that with Eubank Jr. If Billy Joe did smash it at the weekend, could that be his little last fight? Chris Eubank Jr. fight? I think I'd always like to see it. I'd always like to see that chapter close between Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank Jr. Jay, is that a fight you'd potentially like to see?
No, not really. I think if
No.
I would have loved to have seen it if Chris Eubank Jr. had got to world level and sustained a run at world level. Then you say you can't go from Canelo to Chris Eubank Jr. when you've already beat him. In Billy Joe Saunders' eyes, he'd be giving a guy a payday. He'd be giving him a favour. And I don't think he wants to give Chris Eubank a favour, but I think he would have given him the opportunity if he was maybe another world champion, beat a few more world-class fighters. I know he beat James DeGale, but James DeGale was at the end of his career then. I think he had one or two too many fights, James DeGale. I think in his prime he would have beat Chris Eubank. But I don't, on his record, Chris Eubank's not actually beat anyone at world level. He fought George Groves, got beat. James DeGale, I'd say at the end of his career, wasn't for the world title. I know he's been IBO world champion, but that's not really a world champion people talk about. No, I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. has earned it. I do like Chris Eubank as a fighter. I'd just like to see him in with more higher caliber of opponents and get some high wins under his belt. But I honestly think, I don't know, if I was Billy Joe Saunders, I'd go just for the mega fights after this. Maybe Triple G. That'd be a good fight to end it on. Triple G, a nice massive fight. I think he could do Triple G now. I think Triple G, since the two Canelo fights, hasn't been the same fighter. Still got the power. That's the last thing to go. Everyone knows that with a fighter. But I think his speed's gone a little bit. I think maybe his durability. He's been in some wars. Do you know what I mean? And I think maybe he's just slowing down a little bit. But no, I'd love to see that fight.
Definitely. Saul Gutierrez says Canelo the king. And at the minute, I think a lot of people agree he's the king, but it's down to Billy Joe to take that crown off of him Saturday night, can he?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing about, and that's the thing. The thing about it is that I can understand why Alvarez was favourite. Obviously, because of his record, a lot of people may say, yeah, he's Canelo. But I think when you look at it, there's a boxing reasons for him to be the overwhelming favourite. And I still go down to his adaptability and to different fighters. He really, 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 like you surmise when you watch Canelo fight, you think, right, this fighter is wrong for Canelo. Well, when you watch Canelo fight, you don't see evidence of that because he and that's one of the reasons, because he can adapt to a fighter. Especially you have to look at the what he did with Callum Smith, the way he was able to close down the ring, but he made sure that he took the jab out of the equation. Hit him make sure that the signature punch that Karen Smith likes, a left hook to the head and to the body, but it's like he likes Karen Smith's like a double body shot, double hook to the body, and then a right to the body, and then a headshot, and then he's out. He made sure he said, and that all starts from the jab, and then a quick, like I said, hook to head or body. Well, he took that out of the equation, Canelo, because he knew that Callum Smith had a reach advantage, and Callum Smith was more than capable of and comfortable of doing it from long range. So he took that out of the equation. That's adaptability. So he's going to be looking to take away Billy Jones' situation, skills. A double jab, southpaw, double right jab, and then a quick headshot and then in and out. He's going to think, right, I'm going to block. I'm going to not give him any clean work, and even though he may have a slight reach advantage, what Canelo does very well, and we saw that with Bivol last week. The good fighters can throw their jab from not just a standing stance, but from an area where they're basically like, how I say it? Like in football, when you're about to go up for a header, like the legs are strong, and you come up with the shoulders and head up. Well, Canelo's more than capable with a jab to do that from a sort of as if he's having a jump in and out, and that's how he's going to. I think he can take Billy Joe by surprise, and also he's quick enough to be able to block some of those like, how do I say it, those backhanders as well. And the backhanders is very, and he's in terms of his hands, in terms of like, we talk about quick hands in terms of like throwing punches, but you can also have quick hands like with defense. Remember Ricky Hatton? When Ricky Hatton he didn't just keep his hands, he blocked the punch, then he went through.
Then countered.
I've seen Canelo do that, block the punch with the arm, and then boom, in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why I look at it and I think this is a hard fight. It's a hard fight to call against what a lot of a few people are thinking that could be a result. I'll express myself when we're nearer the show. I think there's other things you want to discuss.
Yeah, no, I'm just coming in with some comments here. Keep your comments coming in, people. Smash the like button. Thomas Vasey says, Billy Joe Saunders look amazing, looks sharp, the fans win. And we've discussed that. It is a fight for the fans. It's a fight where the fans will be in attendance. It's a fight where it'll be an event. And it's a fight where we just can't wait. We really can't wait for it. And Noel Mitchell says, hi, lads. Billy Joe Saunders wins 6 rounds. Not enough power to keep Canelo off him, though, unfortunately. Then goes on to say Canelo wins. And then who cares says Saunders needs to be perfect and stay confident from the first bell. And Thomas Versay again says 50-50 to me, whoever wants it more. All right, we'll go with that then. Let's say who wants it more, who would it be?
I think they both want it just as much as each other. I don't think anyone wants it more or less than each other. I think Canelo's a professional, like Kenny was saying. He just wants to collect all the belts, no matter who it is. It could be Joe Bloggs. He's going to fight you. He just likes collecting trophies. And when you get an athlete like that, it's an unbelievable specimen of an athlete. Billy Joe Saunders, as he said many times, he's everything. He's lived for this moment. It's one moment to get to the top of the mountain. So I think both guys want it just as much as each other. But tomorrow we'll find out which guy's going to win. It's gonna be 2 men meeting in the middle of the ring, and let's go for it. Let's see who wants it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Kenny, what about you? Do you think if there is a fighter who wants it more, who would it be?
I think they both want it a lot. Billy Joe Saunders is extremely motivated to create history and to shock the world. And he generally believes he can do that. He's worked. He generally, though I say it with great respect, he probably feels that Canelo shouldn't be mentioned as this demigod, and that he's gonna, if anyone's a demigod, he's gonna prove it's him. So that's the motivation. So in terms of Canelo, he dare not lose. He's built up this portfolio, to the extent that he's so on the ball with what he does. He is so in tune with what's required of him, and he's in my opinion, that's where his motivation comes. There's no way psychologically, and you can tell by his responses and the way he's responding to Billy Jones taunting. He said, "You think I'm going to let that man, someone like him, take what I've got? No, I refuse to let that happen." He generally believes I refuse. You know what I mean? And I'll do anything to win. And if it means bending the rules a bit and killing him, I'll kill him. That's his mentality.
Definitely. Sammy Ali, hi guys at Pep Talk UK, big supporter of the channel, is on most of our lives. So hello there, Sammy. Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the show, mate. And Paul Young says Billy Joe Saunders needs to adopt the tactics of Sonny Edwards. I'm assuming his tactics when he comfortably beat Murti Mitolani a couple of weeks ago when he became the world champion. Jay, do you think they are tactics that, if he adopted them, could work for Billy Joe Saunders against Canelo?
I think they would be the tactics that I would approach if I was Billy Joe Saunders for this fight. We said that, didn't we? We said that the bigger ring is going to have to be down to the footwork, getting in and out. The thing with, I think it'd be a big shock because no one can see I don't know. Everyone's saying if it goes to the points, the judge is going to be with Canelo, and I think the only way Billy Joe Saunders is going to win is on points. So I think that's why this is going to be such a big victory for Billy Joe Saunders if he wins, because I think it will be on points if he does win. But that's the biggest tall order. I think everyone thinks that Canelo's probably going to win on points. Is going to be the safest bet. But yeah, the tactics to be approached would be the Sonny Edwards tactics, like we said, the Floyd Mayweather approach. That's the blueprint. When someone loses, that's the blueprint. You look at Tyson Fury today. He said that the way he's going to beat Anthony Joshua is going to be with a check left hook, the same left hook that Andy Ruiz hit Anthony Joshua with. Do you know what I mean? So once there's a blueprint for fighters, that's what they go with. So yeah, I think that would be the approach.
What about you, Kenny? Are they the tactics that would work for Billy Joe?
Yeah, well, the thing is that in terms of the thing about it is that he made Sonny Edwards made himself elusive, but he let his hands go. He varied his punches as well. He used another underrated punch, was a body punch. Made sure he caught him right in the areas where he thought, the way he was hitting him it was between the back and the sides. But he made sure he scored and went boom, have that, boom, boom, I'm in and out. And it was a game fight. He was dancing, and then when the guy came forward, jab, 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 bang, and in and out. Billy Joe Saunders is capable of doing that. He really is capable of doing that. But against this fighter, it's easier said than done, because this fighter would have prepared for every eventuality, and he would have been expecting Billy Joe Saunders to try that with him.
Yeah.
So
it goes back to the adapting, though, doesn't it, Kenny?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. He's going to adapt, so he's going to be looking to not just stalk him, but let his hands go. He basically has to make sure he breaks Billy Joe Saunders' heart by not just stalking him, beating him to the punch, making sure that before he gets his double jab, I've got my jab in. I've done that. Maybe I could take Billy Joe Saunders by surprise. He's expecting me to stalk him, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let him. I'm going to anticipate that he's going to try and shock me by coming and putting it on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what Billy Joe Saunders does. I'm going to be the one who's first to punch. I'm the one who's dancing around and making him miss. He's capable of doing that. There's not just one Canelo style. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I think we've only scratched the surface about his ability. I think there's more coming. I really think there's more coming. Yeah. He's that good. I still think that there's a lot of ability for Billy Joe Saunders, and I know he's adaptable as well. And I know he's got a great timing, but I think we're dealing with someone who is the best pound for pound fighter in the world because of his ability to fight different styles. Maybe we'll find out tomorrow if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I expect tomorrow for people for the term. His style is all wrong for that fighter. I think that Canelo is more capable of making that extinguishing that theory. More capable of doing that.
He's had nearly 60 fights. He's fought everybody, hasn't he?
Canelo he's only 30 years old. He's been professional for over half of his lifetime. I think he hit the 60 professional fights yet?
I think it's
certainly
pretty close
coming up to it. He's
15. He's 15 when he's first fighting. He's 15.
Yeah, 15. He turned pro when he's 15 years of age. What was you doing when you were 15 years of age? Like, certainly not professional boxing.
I was probably doing GCSE coursework.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was until it got scrapped last year because of the COVID. I'm one of the ones who actually never sat the exams, but yeah, lucky me. But yeah, so amazing to think that he could actually improve. And how long do you think he's got left in him? He's been pro for 15 years. I'll ask you both, and then we will get onto those magic predictions. But I'll start off with you, Kenny. How long do you think Canelo has got left in the tank?
As long, I think what's happening, he's got a deal. Depends. Well, he's got as much in the tank. It depends on the deals. If he gets a promoter and he signs a 3 or 4 fight deal, then I reckon Canelo's probably got back. In terms of fights, big fights, I think he's got about 4 left in him. In terms of career, I reckon the trouble is that you never know with fighters. Personally, I think 2 or 3 years left at the top before he goes away, but you just don't know. He's so young, and you know, there's still good fighters who are still fighting in their mid-30s, and he could be one of those fighters. But it depends. If he has wars and they take his toll on the body, then we're talking about 2 or 3 years, but he'll be out of sport.
Jay, how long do you think he's got left?
Well, like Kenny said, he's quite young still. He's 30 years old. I reckon he's got about 5 to 7 years left in him. I think he'll retire between 35 and 37. Yeah, I think it probably got up to light heavyweight. It probably unify, because I think if he becomes undisputed champion at super middleweight, he's the first Mexican, if I'm correct, ever to do that. So that's why he's so adamant about doing this. And I think after this he'll probably go up to light heavyweight. He already beat Kovalev. So I think he definitely could probably go for another 5 to 7 years. But he's made that so much money. Once he's become undisputed super middleweight champion, you never know what he might do. He might go into management. But I know he loves boxing. Like you say, he's done it for over half his life. He's just someone who's always going to look for more challenges. Do you know what I mean? He's always going to have another goal to aim for. So maybe cruiserweight.
I've seen it happen. Yeah,
some juicy Mexican beef. He might get a bit bigger.
You when you talk about Canelo, right? Do you think he'll look at it and think, right, I want a piece of Betiev and Bivol at like heavyweight?
He might even want Fury after this weekend. Might be looking at Fury going, I'll fight him for the heavyweight title. I'll do a Roy Jones Jr.
That'd be very amusing.
Yeah. Well, Steve Cunningham put Fury down, didn't he? So I'm sure Canelo could probably have a go. I'm only joking.
Let me tell you something about Tyson Fury. It was no surprise to me when Deontay Wilder put him down, and he could fight Joshua, and there's nothing to stop Joshua for finding that chin, because as much as people say Deontay Wilder hasn't got the fundamentals, he still found that chin. And even
that's why everyone likes Fury, don't they? Because Fury's vulnerable, isn't he? So he's one of them fighters that he can get knocked out or not, or he's going to knock them out. So I think that's what makes him so interesting. Yeah. So I do agree with you, Kenny. I think AJ could find the button.
Yeah, and he's more capable. I think what's happening is that Fury will be looking and said, right, there's no way he's going to get a signature uppercut that he got against Pulev, and the uppercut that set up the 11th round stoppage against Klitschko was the right uppercut, and then that set it up. Klitschko felt that, and then he went for the kill, boom, boom, and it took him out. Tyson, he may underestimate AJ's left hook because he put Ruiz down with a left hook. Ruiz wasn't expecting a left hook. He was prepared for the uppercut. So I think what's happening is that heavyweight division. Look, if someone hits you and they're over 15, 16, over 16 stone, then you're going to feel it, mate, and you're going to go. Yeah. Doesn't matter how good the fighter is or how, you know what I mean. Where Dillian White was bashing up Pulev, bashing up Povetkin, battered him. Povetkin went, right, Povetkin was still in there. Billy Joe, he already had saw as an opening. Heavy, Povetkin, all 16 stone of him, caught him clean with the sort of left hook come uppercut. Out cold, mate. You know what I mean? But then, Dillian Whyte, Povetkin felt a lot of Dillian Whyte's punches. They had to throw a towel in because it was brutal, the finish.
Yeah,
so that's heavyweight boxing for you know what I mean?
100%. 100%. We're just going to go through a couple of these comments. I'll quickly blast them out, and then we will get to the magic predictions as we head into the monster fight. Yeah, Thomas first say to me, Billy Joe looks hungry, and then we'll just go. Billy Joe Saunders needs to create angles and not get trapped on those ropes. That goes back to the size of the ring potentially. Sammy Ali, Canelo has a good 7 years left in him. That's what Canelo has said this week. Look at Golovkin. Golovkin is 39, still dominant. QM has quoted Canelo's mantra, no boxing, no life, which certainly goes into it. And then it's Van Grob says, you have to love Billy Joe Saunders' ballsy attitude, wash hands. Like, it's getting everyone talking. Gary Gringo's worried about the judges. Will Billy Joe Saunders needs a knockout to be awarded a draw? We certainly hope that isn't the case, but I think we'll go over that before the fight tomorrow night. Sammy Ali says Khan was beating Canelo before he got knocked out. And then just going down to who cares, I agree. And he timed Khan perfectly. Going back to the Khan fight, Jose Tabon says Benavidez will beat Canelo. And obviously that is a fight that we may see in the future. But here we go. What are we now? It's just approaching 9:30 on the Friday evening. We're expecting the fight at 4 a.m. Saturday night, Sunday morning. Jay, starting with you. What is your prediction?
My prediction is, I think it's going to be a draw. I've just got a feeling it's going to be a draw, and it's going to make it perfect for a second fight. I don't know. I want Billy Joe Saunders to win with everything. Like, he's my man. I want him to win. British fighter for a world title to make history. I've just got a feeling it's going to be like the Deontay Wilder Fury fight. I can't see Saunders knocking him out, and if it goes to points, I can't see it not going for Canelo or a draw in front of 70,000 people. I think, a draw. Yeah, I've said it. Like, that's it. I don't want a draw. I don't want a draw. I want to win. I'm just saying. You're saying, what do you think the prediction of the final result will be? Yeah. I'm saying Sunday morning we'll be saying it was a draw, one of the greatest British performances of all time, and it should have been a win. Remember, everyone after Fury fought Wilder the first fight. Everyone thought Fury won that, even though he got knocked down a couple of times. It was a boxing lesson, really, for 10 of the 12 rounds. So, I think it'd be the final result will be a draw. I want Billy Joe Saunders to win, but I think that's what the draw will be at the end of the night.
I'll quickly ask you this question then, Jay. Say if it's a draw on Saturday night, it's a draw, and you think Billy Joe should have got the decision. Will you be ecstatic that Billy Joe Saunders has gone out there and put in that mega performance, or will you be gutted and angry that he didn't take away the win? Which will outweigh the other feeling, do you think, Jay?
Depends how the performance went. If he deserved the win and I had him up by a good couple of rounds, then I'll be devastated, because I think it should be fair. Whoever, it's a sport. There should be a winner and a loser, and whoever wins should be rightly awarded the winner. So if he gives a boxing performance that's worthy of the victory, then I'll be devastated if he doesn't get it, and he deserves to. But if it's a close fight and it's a battle and it's a draw, I just want it to be a great fight for the fans. We've all wanted this fight for so long. I don't want it to come down to a judge's decision where it's like going to be an outrage. But I've just got a feeling. That's my feeling. It's going to be a draw. So I don't know what you guys think. Kenny's probably going to have a prediction here, but yeah, mine's going to be final result is going to be a draw.
Right, so guys, remember that J Alby says it's going to be a draw. Here we go. Pep Talk, UK poll. 2K people were split with the voting. I saw that. It was 50-50, and that's very rare you see
So
that.
the fair result's a draw then?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. Kenny? Please,
Right.
mate.
I've mentioned things about levels and adaptability of Canelo, and I think that he's probably the only fighter I've looked at in the world at the moment where the term this guy's style is all wrong. It doesn't apply to this guy. So I'm going for in that respect, I'm going for Canelo. Unanimous decision. I can see one of the judges giving it one. I can see one of the judges giving it 116, 112, and two judges giving it 115, 113.
I'm going to write that down, Kenny. I'm going to write that down. What was it?
Yeah.
116, 112, and 115, 113.
Yeah, two. So it's a unanimous points decision. 116, 112, 115, 113 for two other judges. They'll be timed. And the reason why I think that'll happen because I think that Billy Joe will give Canelo 2 or 3 rounds up and a head start, and you give this guy a head start. It's good night. I really do, and I think the reason why Billy Joe Saunders will do it because he's going to find it. He's going to find it out the hard way. He'll find something the hard way, right?
Yeah. And he won't be able to recover.
No,
later on in the fight.
No, sorry. So that he'll find out the hard way that he may find that if he beats the punch, and he won't be able to get his hands going. And once you do that, Canelo in the first 3 or 4 rounds, you've lost the fight.
Simple as that. Simple as that from Kenny. He's gone with Canelo. Jay has gone with a draw. Guys.
What's yours then, Joe? What's Joe's prediction then? Big Joe, come on then.
I don't usually like to make a prediction, but I'll go. I've got to say, with my head completely out of the window and full heart, I've got to stick with Billy Joe. I've got to just with my heart a bit, as I've said so many times on Pep Talk UK. Billy Joe Saunders has been a fighter that I've followed from the very start of his career. One of the first fighters I've followed from the very start of his career. I absolutely love him, and the pure adulation for me, if he went out there and done it, proved the whole world wrong, would probably be up there with the highlights of my sporting fandom. I'd have to say that. I'd have to say that. It'd be up there with West Ham getting promoted, Kenny. Right, guys.
West Ham getting promoted? Do you mean West Ham getting the top 4?
No, I'm taking you way back to 2012 there, Kenny. They ain't going to get that. Don't speak too soon with top 4. Don't speak too soon with top 4 there, Kenny. I'll have a party with you if they do. I know you weren't celebrating last night, mate. But
I like to talk about football when we do boxing shows.
Brilliant. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you we're joined by J Alby and Kenny Ken. Jay, where can people find you on your social medias, mate?
You can find me on Instagram, JAlby1989, or here on Pep Talk UK. Kenny, are you on tomorrow for the lives, or are you watching it with your wife?
Watch along in the family home with its kids. I'm not getting away with that. No chance.
No, not a chance. No, that's all right. No, that's cool.
Day, though, mate, or within the next couple of days, definitely. Yeah. Kenny, where can people find you, mate?
Instagram and Twitter on @KennyKen1972.
Absolutely fantastic. So, guys, make sure you join us 4 a.m. Sunday morning. Me and Jay will be up for it.
Yeah.
We'll be talking you through it. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. And I cannot wait. See you soon, guys. Have a good
See you soon.
Saturday. Have a good Saturday.
See you soon.
See ya.